Oh my God, guys, it's been crazy. So today I finally just chilled out and had my full-on Saturn opposition. Chiron and Virgo, I'm going through my Saturn return. Obviously, this is one for the books. You only go through 2 in your life, so it's really important that you get these themes hammered into your soul. It's like there is a reason why it's so eccentric, it's supposed to awaken you. And that's the thing. I've been so used to like Uranus and Neptune awakening me, right? And on those conditions, it's to do with Capricorn for me. So it's awakening in a structured way, the father awakening. I've had a lot of kindness from people in terms of structures, despite being everything that is outside the box, which is what I'm realizing as we sum up the year. I'm very outside the box. I'm very Eva Molchan, very just a person who loves life, and at my best I can show that I love life. There are times in my life when I have to quiet down and minimize myself to see other situations, to compare, to notice things, and that's when I'm going through a Chiron awakening, which I just kind of did. So it's important to realize that in this life, your heart has many valves, right? And it's about deepening those valves. Sometimes you are in a situation where you feel like you are younger. For example, I'm 28. So for people who are like in their mid-20s or early 20s, you just go through such a deepening of your heart valves as you get older, and you start being like, it's not that I can't relate to this person, I can choose to relate to them in certain ways. And I think for personality development, it's not about, getting really scared of connection. It's about understanding how to connect. And that's what I'm trying to say. With the Saturn and Pisces are colloquially known for connecting with groups of individuals from all sorts of ages. And it's very high up, because imagine Saturn, karma, limitations in the sign of Pisces. That's a person who kind of can get away with the most in this lifetime, because they've mastered. Okay, if you're coming in with a Saturn in Pisces, like you're coming in with a person who really is hard on themselves, who really does need to loosen up. A lot of people with Saturn and Pisces had very difficult upbringings, very strict parents, very condescending parents, some domestic violence, sometimes abusive parents, sometimes there was power struggles, sometimes there was addiction, opioid addiction, alcohol addiction, heroin addiction, all these addictions, right? Because that's Saturn and Pisces is a native who's supposed to understand how to tackle the many different sides of Pisces. Pisces at its best is higher love, highest intuition, most dominant dreamer, very, very loving and very devoted, right? But also the lower aspects of the 12th house, which Pisces rules, is the lower aspects of the subconscious mind, which is addiction, which is, neurosis kind of behavior, but it really is addiction. And it's really important to understand that the Pisces is 2 fish. Like, you always have to notice there's the conscious fish and there's a subconscious fish, and life is movement, right? So Saturn and Pisces should go through life just being like, I'm attracting things effortlessly, because they will. Saturn and Pisces are the kind of people who are like, all of a sudden they're super famous. All of a sudden they're super talented. All of a sudden they're super, super incredible, right? And it's super important to realize Saturn and Pisces have not always had the easiest upbringing. I already said this, right? It's true. It's so important to realize that Pisces, some people have said Pisces is a psychological sign. I can't help but say it is so true. And that is one of the biggest things I've learned, is Pisces is incredibly psychological. It's how you navigate the psyche, because you can bring it to great places, or you can bring it to really negative places. I used to attend a spiritual retreat center. I was a yogi there for 4 months, called Hridaya Yoga in Mazunte, Mexico. And there was one time we had this heart circle. There was like this misunderstanding, and we had this heart circle, and one of the guys there, he was a Capricorn, he was a leader, he was like a Capricorn Aquarius rising. And he was like, I'm a progressed Aquarius rising Pisces. He's always like, I'm a progressed Aquarius, but I'm a rising Pisces. He's always talking about like charts and progression. But it was so interesting because like he was like in his most Capricorn natal state, or whatever Capricorn he had in him. He was kind of gathering us, and like we had a misunderstanding today, and I'm really sorry about it. And it was just like, we should live in societies where we're moving through misunderstandings a lot more simply and easier, and going over those softer emotions, because Saturn in Pisces is really soft, right? Saturn in Pisces might have to do some things just to make sure their emotions are okay, because when somebody's cutting you off or somebody's doing something really sad, you're not noticing that you have the ability to make it conscious about your limitations. And that's why Saturn in Pisces does need to cut from people sometimes. That's why Saturn in Pisces does need to say, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to say no. You know, and it's like Saturn in Pisces is just going to have to sit on that super wavy throne. It's wavy. It's like somebody sitting in water watching you, you know? And it's so important to say there should be a throne in the water. To say the waters are untethered and dangerous is bad. We should be able to go into the depth of the water. And that's why I love underwater astrology, because I'm not afraid to go into the depth of the water. I'm not afraid to see what is in the water. I have Neptune in Capricorn. I also have Uranus there. So it's very interesting. It's also very interesting to see like Chiron, my Chiron journey with the Saturn. And it's being like, there's moments where I feel like I have a grip and then it's released. And that is kind of linked with human design. But it is interesting to be like, where do I see underwater going? Well, I see underwater going to many new horizons, many different places that are very dreamy. I see me doing charts. Hopefully, I'm doing 10 charts a month. And people are having a lot of fun. And hopefully, I'm doing sound healing a month. So hopefully, by 2024, we're doing astrology once a month. We're doing sound healing once a month. And we're working, you know, and then we're also doing volunteering, and we're also coming into more, maybe there's a job at home I manifest. So there's a lot of things that are able to be manifested, but it's right. So it is Saturn kind of opposing asteroid money, which is like, oh my God, like limitations with how you see money, because it's psychological. It's like, I didn't do this and I didn't do that and I didn't do this. It's like, first know your bills, then subtract all of them, see what's left, and work with that. Instead of projecting what you want to wear next week, first start off with your bills. Saturn opposition money. Don't start off with, I want to look like Princess Diana next week. You know, I want glittered out opal necklace. I want onyx rings. I want gold-plated hair clips. I want the most beautiful blazer. I want the most shiny patent black boots. And I want some new skinny black pants with a like really cool rock and roll shirt that has a bunch of holes in it. Like, we could talk about that, right? But it's so important to be understanding here that the psychology of Saturn and Pisces is what's going to change. For me, I'm having Saturn opposition Chiron. This has been one of the most healing times of my life, and I'm really thankful for my community, and that is really nice, right? So I have Chiron and DNA together. Sometimes I need to freaking heal, and it's opposing my Saturn, so I have limitations with my family, and I just realized that I have limitations with my DNA line, and it's because I am supposed to, at some point, supposed to go into my personality full. And now you realize there's so much hatred, there's so much neglect, right? Because money is now in the sun. Sun and money are now coupling up. Now you're seeing people be present with money. Now you're seeing the real issues. Now you're seeing the corona pandemic unfold. I was on the train today and I was hearing someone cough every 3 minutes. Like, not to be weird, there is a psychology of sickness right now. It was crazy. It was definitely a new experience for me. I've never seen this many sick people. I don't know, like, people are just coughing with colds. We're coming into the fall, winter. I'm still wearing a mask because I'm like, I don't even want to get a cold. It's like the kind of sickness where I'm like, people are getting colds. You know, I'm like, I'm seeing this person. Thank God I take vitamin C. Thank God I take vitamin D. And thank God I'm vegan, because I was seeing people just coughing and super sick. And I went to another city, like a neighboring city, and it was super busy and it was super awesome. And the vibe was there. But then, like, it was just crazy, this crazy psychological feeling of like, eventually it would be nice to have kind of a part-time job where I was working from home, just because my constitution is Vata and I am in my Saturn return, and it would be nice to be able to like just be like really in control of a work schedule. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I think I'll go through a lot of rejection? Yes. Do I think it's a part of the process? Yes. Do I think at times, because Saturn is in Pisces, because it's Saturn ruled by Capricorn, and it's in the most waviest waters, but there is structure to your madness. Saturn in Pisces, there is structure. It's like there is an underwater castle that rises up in your Saturn return that gives you a new empire. But it's like only the bravest souls will get to the empire, because they chose to see their emotions and get rid of the negative emotions. They chose to recycle the water. They chose to bring in fresh water. Like, people are buying islands now. Of course you can control what's in the water. Like, you can choose to put gasoline in water. You can choose to filter it. It's like, we have natural reserves in this city. I'm not going to name the city, but people don't choose to take care of it. Therefore, the water is dirty. It's like, it's a choice. And now Saturn in Pisces is making me think of water reserves and where we're going with that. And it's really important to realize, like, there are miracles that are going to happen this week that are going to take us to another dimension. But it's the paranoia, the confusion, the schizophrenia, and the random assertion in random places that's going to be bad. Everything is set this year. Everything is like, we went through the hardest part. The summer was the hardest. Now we're in the fall, right? I always say this. And I've always been this kind of person who's been like, we've just been through the hardest part, right? It was really hard when Saturn was in Aquarius, Neptune was in Pisces. That was really difficult. Now we're in Saturn and Pisces, Neptune and Pisces. It's super important to realize that the more you open up your heart with South Node Libra, the easier it gets. But because it's South Node Libra, it's super karmic with relationships. People aren't going to get away with doing the same things that they were doing for years because it's South Node Libra. So however you're acting in relationships, this is the year it stops. This is the year you're not going to be able to project on people. This is the year you're not going to be able to be like, I know that, like, I'm best friends with this person when you text them once. This is the year that you're not going to be able to really claim anything until you physically get into the 3D and you communicate. Because Saturn is making Neptune 3D, which is saying that we are starting to be able to dream our life, but we're going to go through rejection because that is the process. Rejection is natural. Again, this is a cycle. This is Fortuna. You got to deal with it. Everybody gets rejected. Everybody. Don't you get it? It's like, for some of you, it's like you're not waking up. You have $1,000 of rent to pay next week, and you're literally sitting on your couch expecting the rent to be paid itself. This is the kind of energy where I see people coming together and doing really spiritual things by Scorpio season and changing the fate of their lives. I see people being able to change fate. I do believe you can change fate. I do believe you can do a lot of things in this universe, but you have to be grounded. I do believe that there is magic. I do believe in magic. I do believe in love. I do believe in hope. Those are the three things. But it's not going to be the same way we've been doing it for years. And that's the interesting part, is that every year as we go through astrology, we will learn new skills, new plants, new colors, new sensations, new things that raise our vibration, because we're going to be moving through different terrain for the next 10 years. And I'm working on doing the astrology for the next 10 years. So what I'm noticing is that every year has a different energy. I'm not going to go into the 10-year astrology report on this recording. But if you want it, it's not available yet. But I'm thinking about doing a 10-year astrology forecast for all 12 signs, and you can purchase it on my email. And what energy we're going to go through with love, personality, and career. How are you going to navigate it? How are you going to navigate when you see patterns but you haven't healed through things, is one thing I was noticing. Like, how are you going to go through this same dilemma? This is what I see happening. You just keep connecting with people. Especially for me, I see the whole community, the spiritual community, keep connecting with people and growing. For the people that want to stay locked in to their culture, their ways, their belief system, that's great. But I really truly believe this earth is about connecting with people and their different skill set, because that is the best part, is when you're in a multicultural, diverse community and somebody's bringing some Peruvian sea salt that all of a sudden makes you feel a lot happier. Or somebody's bringing this amazing dragon fruit, right? This dragon fruit juice, and they're like, put it on your face, and now it's a beautiful face mask. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's these beautiful connections we can all be making. There's these beautiful connections we can all be making to grow, to change, to adjust. Because every year there's going to be an adjustment. What I see as a pattern is, as you purify elements, you realize that a lot of survival is to do with managing your blood sugar level. And the reason why I bring this up is because I see a lot of us just being so deprived and running to sugar. Like, not to be weird, but this Saturn opposition, my Chiron, is bringing up a lot. Low sugar levels. Low sugar levels is one. So you're not getting enough sugar, so you're running to like Skittles and M&Ms, and you're like, but you're doing that on a consistent basis, and all of a sudden it's like your guides are like, bro, you're gonna get diabetes. Or, you're running to like fatty foods really quickly because you're not taking the time to prepare the meals. So I see a lot of, for me with my Chiron and Virgo, just for me, and the community can relate to this, I see myself preparing meals. Like, starting to invest in my 30s. I want to look good, right? So that's going to take work. That's going to take me getting facials once a year. That's going to take me taking care of my skin, but on a deeper level, on the root as well. It's going to be, actually, facials are amazing. I do want to say, out of everything, facials are amazing. It clears your skin. It makes you attuned to nature so much better, especially if you identify with fairy culture. Oh my God, facials are amazing. But yes,